Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Something that serves as a model or a basis for making copies. A program exemplifying a contemplated series, intended to attract sponsors. Someone who is licensed to operate an aircraft in flight. An inclined metal frame at the front of a locomotive to clear the track. Operate an airplane. The pilot flew to Cuba. Small auxiliary gas burner that provides a flame to ignite a larger gas burner. Act as the navigator in a car, plane, or vessel and plan, direct, plot the path and position of the conveyance. A person qualified to guide ships through difficult waters going into or out of a harbor. Something that serves as a model or a basis for making copies. Something that serves as a model or a basis for making copies. This painting is a copy of the original. An original creation, i.e., an audio recording, from which copies can be made. Being or productive of something fresh and unusual, or being as first made or thought of. A truly original approach. Not derived or copied or translated from something else. The play is original, not an adaptation. A VG information, not secondhand or by way of something intermediary. His work is based on only original, not secondary, sources. Preceding all others in time or being as first made or performed. The original inhabitants of the Americas. A program exemplifying a contemplated series, intended to attract sponsors. Activity planned as a test or trial. A program exemplifying a contemplated series, intended to attract sponsors. Someone who is licensed to operate an aircraft in flight. A neutral zone between two rival powers that is created in order to diminish the danger of conflict. A power tool used to buff surfaces. Computer science. A part of RAM used for temporary storage of data that is waiting to be sent to a device. Used to compensate for differences in the rate of flow of data between components of a computer system. Protect from impact. An inclined metal frame at the front of a locomotive to clear the track. An implement consisting of soft material mounted on a block, used for polishing, as in manicuring. A cushion-like device that reduces shock due to an impact. Add a buffer, a solution. Buffered saline solution for the eyes. Chemistry. An ionic compound that resists changes in its pH. An inclined metal frame at the front of a locomotive to clear the track. An inclined metal frame at the front of a locomotive to clear the track. A barrier that surrounds the wheels of a vehicle to block splashing water or mud. In Britain they call a fender a wing. A cushion-like device that reduces shock due to an impact. A low metal guard to confine falling coals to a hearth. Operate an airplane. Pass away rapidly. Decrease rapidly and disappear. Travel through the air, be airborne. Man cannot fly. Run away quickly. Flap consisting of a piece of canvas that can be drawn back to provide entrance to a tent. Operate an airplane. An opening in a garment that is closed by a zipper or by buttons concealed under a fold of cloth. Baseball. A hit that flies up in the air. Be dispersed or disseminated. Rumors and accusations are flying. British informal, not to be deceived or hoodwinked. Cuz to fly or float. Fly a kite. Change quickly from one emotional state to another. Fly into a rage. Display in the air or cause to float. Fly a kite. Fisherman's lure consisting of a fishhook decorated to look like an insect. Hit a fly. Move quickly or suddenly. Transport by aeroplane. We fly flowers from the Caribbean to North America. Travel in an airplane. She is flying to Cincinnati tonight. Travel over, an area of land or sea, in an aircraft. Lindbergh was the first to fly the Atlantic. Two-winged insects characterized by active flight. Small auxiliary gas burner that provides a flame to ignite a larger gas burner. Indicator consisting of a light to indicate whether power is on or a motor is in operation. Small auxiliary gas burner that provides a flame to ignite a larger gas burner. Travel on water propelled by wind or by other means. Act as the navigator in a car, plane, or vessel and plan, direct, plot the path and position of the conveyance. Is anyone volunteering to navigate during the trip? Direct carefully and safely. He navigated his way to the altar. A person who poses for a photographer or painter or sculptor. The president didn't have time to be a model, so the artist worked from photos. Construct a model of. Model an airplane. A representative form or pattern. A hypothetical description of a complex entity or process. The computer program was based on a model of the circulatory and respiratory systems. Worthy of imitation. Model citizens. Representation of something, sometimes on a smaller scale. A woman who wears clothes to display fashions. Something to be imitated. A model of clarity. Someone worthy of imitation. Every child needs a role model. The act of representing something, usually on a smaller scale. Create a representation or model of. Form in clay, wax, etc. Model a head with clay. Assume a posture as for artistic purposes. Plan or create according to a model or models. A type of product. His car was an old model. Display, clothes, as a mannequin. Model the latest fashion. A representative form or pattern. I profited from his example. Something to be imitated. An occurrence of something. But there is always the famous example of the Smiths. An item of information that is typical of a class or group. This patient provides a typical example of the syndrome. Punishment intended as a warning to others. They decided to make an example of him. A task performed or problem solved in order to develop skill or understanding. You must work the examples at the end of each chapter in the textbook. A program broadcast by television. 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 Someone who operates an aircraft. Someone who travels by air. Someone who operates an aircraft. An advertisement, usually printed on a page or in a leaflet, intended for wide distribution. Someone who travels by air. Someone who operates an aircraft. An advertisement, usually printed on a page or in a leaflet, intended for wide distribution. Someone who operates an aircraft. Someone who operates an aircraft. A hypothetical description of a complex entity or process. A structure supporting or containing something. The underlying structure. Providing a factual framework for future research. A system of assumptions and standards that sanction behavior and give it meaning. Formulate in a particular style or language. Make up plans or basic details for. Frame a policy. Construct by fitting or uniting parts together. Baseball. One of 9 divisions of play during which each team has a turn at bat. The hard structure, bones and cartilages, that provides a frame for the body of an animal. Take or catch as if in a snare or trap. The innocent man was framed by the police. Enclose in or as if in a frame. Frame a picture. A framework that supports and protects a picture or a mirror. The frame enhances but is not itself the subject of attention. The internal supporting structure that gives an artifact its shape. Alternative names for the body of a human being. A structure supporting or containing something. An application that divides the user's display into 2 or more windows that can be scrolled independently. A single drawing in a comic strip. A single one of a series of still transparent pictures forming a cinema, television or video film. Enclose in a frame, as of a picture. One of the 10 divisions into which bowling is divided. The framework for a pair of eyeglasses. Handle and cause to function. Control the lever. Exercise authoritative control or power over. Control the budget. Lessen the intensity of. Temper. Hold in restraint. Hold or keep within limits. Control your anger. A standard against which other conditions can be compared in a scientific experiment. The control condition was inappropriate for the conclusions he wished to draw. Place under restrictions. Limit access to by law. This substance is controlled. Discipline in personal and social activities. She never lost control of herself. Be careful or certain to do something. Make certain of something. Control the quality of the product. Maintain influence over others or oneself, skillfully, usually to one's advantage. She is a very controlling mother and doesn't let her children grow up. The state that exists when one person or group has power over another. Check or regulate a scientific experiment by conducting a parallel experiment or comparing with another standard. Are you controlling for the temperature? Great skillfulness and knowledge of some subject or activity. A mechanism that controls the operation of a machine. The speed controller on his turntable was not working properly. Have a firm understanding or knowledge of. Be on top of. Do you control these data? A relation of constraint of one entity, thing or person or group, by another. Measures for the control of disease. A spiritual agency that is assumed to assist the medium during a séance. Physiology, regulation or maintenance of a function or action or reflex, etc. The timing and control of his movements were unimpaired. Power to direct or determine. Under control. The activity of managing or exerting control over something. The control of the mob by the police was admirable. The economic policy of controlling or limiting or curbing prices or wages, etc. They wanted to repeal all the legislation that imposed economic controls. Verify by using a duplicate register for comparison. Control an account. Handle and cause to function. Do not operate machinery after imbibing alcohol. Perform as expected when applied. Perform surgery on. The doctors operated on the patient but failed to save his life. Direct or control projects, businesses, etc. Perform a movement in military or naval tactics in order to secure an advantage in attack or defense. Keep engaged. Burner such that combustible gas issues from a nozzle to form a steady flame. Burner such that combustible gas issues from a nozzle to form a steady flame.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.